People won't keep their membership just because you've got nice speakers, right? That's not going to happen. But people will leave if it's terrible. That's the flip side, right?
This is going to come out really wrong. It's not about adding value, it's about reducing the negative. Ash, welcome to the Gym Owners Forum stand at Elevate.
No, thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. I mean, Ben is Ben's the reason we're here, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Sure. The way he spoke about kind of what you guys are trying to do in the industry and why you're doing it for gym owners, exactly the kind of thing that we were looking for. It's not about a quick profit and a quick turnaround. It's about providing a better space and a functional space that actually supports gym owners and repeat business is the key, I guess. And
yeah, exactly. I mean, we're all about partnerships and relationships. So the way we've built a big community in the gym area within the fitness, wellness is by building partnerships. And they're long-standing partnerships. They're not, like you say, quick turnarounds.
Yeah, and I think this industry is so people-focused, and it's like people are almost the product. It's always going to be a relationship industry. Welcome. My first questions from you are from Neurosonic. He essentially tasked you with, they have their recovery beds which send frequencies through the bed, and it's essentially just a big Theragun for your back, and it is fantastic, I can say. For a recovery space like that within a fitness center, how would you use audio visuals to kind of amplify that space and make it better?
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing one. So that's a great question. It really helps me push on to what we're trying to sell, really, which is atmosphere and sensory. So we heighten senses. That is the main thing. So we've recently completed a project in Farringdon, and the senses are heightened through smell, through sound, through visual, through lighting. So you've got atmosphere that you can build in many different ways. And by heightening them senses, you have control over how you want that person to feel. So for a place like that, we would create an atmosphere that's, relaxed, it's tranquil, it's soft lighting, it's soft audio, and you can ramp it up when the session ends, and you can, enter people nicely as they walk in, and it starts slowly. So yeah, that's sort of what we would do.
It's like creating an immersive experience.
Exactly, immersive, yeah.
You use the term heightening your senses.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a bit of a juxtaposition from using the word heightened and then also saying you're relaxing someone. And so can you just define what heightening senses is? What is that?
It's like I said before, it's getting control of that person's senses and how they're going to feel. So heightening the senses might mean, if you smell a smell in a certain way, then you might be brought back to a feeling. If you're hearing music that's nostalgic, then it will bring you back to a feeling. This is, key points that you can hit just at the right time. Now, obviously, we heighten senses for, let's just say, create a different atmosphere for High Rocks CrossFit than we would to Pilates. But what we're doing is we're making sure that person has that sense of feel, and we're immersing them in that, whether it's a relaxation or whether it's getting ready to break a PB on a High Rocks.
Yeah, I mean, the scene from Ratatouille where the critic eats the ratatouille and he gets taken back to his childhood, that flashed through my head. Relevance, don't know. That's you're talking about what makes a good space. Let's go to the flip side of that. You walk into a space that is literally just like an AV nightmare. Like, what makes a bad space? What does that look like?
So, I mean, there's plenty of ways we could describe a bad space. Probably a good way to do it is to say there's 3 or 4 things that a space that's performing badly could do to make it better. Now, one thing that's very common everywhere you go is louder is better. So they might have one large speaker that's like a Bluetooth, and they're doing it from 15 meters away in the office, and they just turned it right up. That's a terrible experience for anyone who's standing close to the speaker, because they're getting pummeled with audio, and anyone further away probably can't hear it enough or hear it clearly. So I think, one loud speaker or badly placed speakers that are not balanced is terrible. You really need to map it out. When we do a system that might be multi-zone gym, we would map it out on a heat map on our software and work out where the frequencies are going to lay so it sits evenly balanced for everyone to enjoy at a good volume.
You say like a mapping software that you've got. Is that your? Well, I mean, we've got Twin Labs here, so that seems like a good synergy. But is that your own software? What does that kind of look like?
No, this is a industry standard software.
Okay.
So it'd be used by East Focus. So that's an industry standard software that anyone in audio should and would be using to produce quality audio.
That's the vetting question. If you're speaking to an AV company, make sure they got that software. So. People talk about a vibe of a place and an energy of a place, and without getting all hippy dippy, what is an energy to a place? Like, what's that made up of essentially?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what type of space you're trying to create. So, for instance, if we're trying to create a class and we want to do a spin class, so we do pixel tape lighting, where we can control each pixel in the light strip. So when we're starting the class, we might have it on white or cool white, so people come in and they can see what they're doing. They can actively navigate around safely. But when it starts, we get the music flowing, we get the pumping music, we get the bass, we get the high frequencies, and we balance it all right. And it's just easy for the person who's running it. Just push play, and the presets will go through. So the lights will start triggering, and then you get a rolling light. So it feels like that you're moving, although you're in the class.
Yeah.
We might have visuals on the screen, and we might be doing an uphill or a downhill sprint, or a finish line sprint, or whether it's through Monaco or around the Alps. We can create that color. So if we're going through the Alps and it's fucking snowy, when we would change the lights to white snow.
Quite sick. That's very cool. And I mean, the reason I thought you guys were really interesting was because it was. I think the general assumption when people say AV is like the telly and the speakers essentially. Ben was very stern and educated me that wasn't the case. And I think in today's day and age, like what does AV consist of in terms of like the future? What's the modern day standard for AV?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because it moves so quickly, right? So if I say something today, it might be something else tomorrow. And it's what I would say is having an infrastructure and a partner, hopefully, that can lead you and guide you to being where you need to be today and tomorrow. So today might need one thing, and next year, targets might change, the industry might change. It's focused around a lot of community now, where before it was a bit isolated. So you may want to change that, but the infrastructure remains the same. You want to be a partner who's going to put something in place that you're going to spend your money on that's going to last, not something that, right, well, let's rip it all out and let's go again. A lot of stuff in our technology is software based now. Yeah. So as long as the hardware is strong and capable, then we can change everything just around software, which is easier, cheaper.
How important is it to not sell the hardware or the software as like a product and actually sell the effect it has rather?
Yeah, we sell an experience, and we're selling atmosphere, and we're selling that sensory enlightenment that we mentioned. But obviously there has to be product go along with it. But we don't talk tech specs. If we're talking with a technical partner, then of course they'd be interested in that. But what we don't do is we don't bog our partners down with, this is the amps, it's got 400 watts per channel, it's on 8 ohms. Because they don't need that. They need to they need to know how it's going to make their customer feel.
Yeah.
And that's what the point we get across is how we make your customer feel. And we built that around budgets, because ultimately there's a budget for everyone, and it has to be. Otherwise it's theoretically impossible for everyone to be able to purchase the best thing.
Yeah. And is there like can you dive into a little bit about like the science behind the health of it, and kind of, we talk about that heightened senses, like what's the science behind that? I almost want to say like spiritualness to it, but is there that element of like internal chemistry that's going on that's changing?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I suppose when you go into different places individually, and it's quite a personal thing, that you would experience different things. Now, for instance, we did Penhaligon's, and that they obviously educated us quite a lot on the smells, because it's obviously an aftershave in London, and that was a real eye opener for us, quite educational. And also the flip side of that, when we was in Spotify in London, we did on the Embankment and the project there, and that was all about audio and how it made the artist feel, because they were trying to sell to the artist to get them to sign, and then they perform. So it's different ways that triggers different things for different people. And for instance, in that room, there was all different types of speakers in different rooms. So you would go into a different room to have a different experience, which not a lot of people actually realize.
Is there quite a strong link between kind of art? It does feel quite like immersive, and I guess that is art in a way. Would you consider it that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we also, a project for ours is Laverick Hall in Laverick Grove, and that's like a ultra high net wealthy gallery there. So what we do there is we work very closely with the artists and our partnership with them and Bang & Olufsen, and it's how we make the art come to life through audio.
Oh, cool. So you're an artist. I mean, yeah, we're going back quickly to smells and sounds and the science behind that. I mean, smells and gym probably isn't two words you ever hear in the same sentence. So is there anything you've done with smells within the gym space, and what's the reason behind that?
Mainly the spas.
Yeah.
So the spa space and the recovery space, that's where you get that scent of it. Yeah, for sure.
Deodorizing sprays and stuff, yeah. So what does a gym owner kind of always massively underestimate and not consider when going space? Because speakers seems like quite an obvious one to people. And
yeah, speakers is an obvious one. Now, one thing that we've seen a lot of traction on over probably the last year, I'd say, is the ROI that the gyms can make on their AV, and that's not something that's really put together. Is right, how am I going to get a return on investment on my AV? Yeah, doesn't make sense. And it's through advertising, right? So we put digital signage into these venues, whether they're signing their menu for the cafe, whether they're talking about that they've got spin class on next week and to sign up and trying to get people in the room, whether they're pushing their partner brands, whether they're pushing, hydration tablets, hydration drinks, protein shakes, whether they're pushing the classes. You can use this as soft advertising in the room. I mean, you can also use it as notice boards. So the way you do it is we partner with you, we determine where it's a good place to put it in the gym or the wellness area. And we would work out what brands are good suited for that. And then they aim at them brands to sell them a slot on their screen. We create the content for them, and then they create ROI. The advertisers then get return on investment through their advert because people are buying their product, and that's probably something that goes missing or that's coming in a lot more now.
It's interesting because it sounds like you go well beyond even the AV stuff, and it's almost like a consultancy aspect of it and getting involved in like the marketing and partnering. Is it kind of a one size not a one size fits all package, but is it kind of a all-in-one package, I guess?
Well, what we do together when you partner with MADEAV is you get all of our experience as well. So we've done lots of gyms, we've done lots of wellness, paddle, Pilates. So we see firsthand mistakes that are made. So it's really good to share that. That we get asked, shall we put this type of light in it? Does this room need to be bigger? You'd be surprised some of the questions I get asked, which are completely out of our remit, but it's because they know we've done it before. So, I can say, you could probably put 10 Pilates beds in here, but it might be a bit of a squeeze. Everyone would be a bit more comfortable if you put 7. So, you get that with us. We're a turnkey in terms of technology, but we're not a turnkey in terms of building. But we've got so many partners that we've worked with that we can, really help that owner, find the right brands to work with.
It's why I love I'm going to do a shameless plug now, but it's why I love the Gym Owners Forum, is because actually do you think this is common knowledge with gym owners? Do you think this is common knowledge with people that the AV, the importance of AV? Do you think it's quite undervalued maybe?
It's hard. I think a lot of people, no matter what line of business you're in, you realize that when you start a business, you feel like you're on your own. And to know that you've got one place that you could potentially sign up to, which is minimal, but producing a mass, amount of knowledge and information like Gym Owners Forum, that's, you need to know that you need to know that's there, because otherwise you will just do it on your own. You'll muddle through it, and then it's the same as everyone says, the first venue, let's just try and get through it, and then the second one will be better. That's just...
It's always worse.
Yeah.
You always try and change something.
You've really got to do it right from the start, otherwise you're setting yourself up for disaster.
So, I mean, speaking of disasters then, what does a bad environment look like? And kind of, I know we touched on like one speaker in the room, and I think I'll kind of want to go beyond that and maybe say, like, what's a space that people will tolerate versus a space that people like actively look forward to going into?
Yeah, I mean, if we look at member retention, people won't keep their membership just because you've got nice speakers, right? That's not going to happen. But people will leave if it's terrible. That's the flip side, right? So that's what we see is competition as well. If like we're opening so many different venues, so close to other venues, and people will move. You know, why would you put up with a minimal cost increase a month? Let's say it's £10 a month. It's only, you know, £2.50 a week. You don't mind paying that if you're gonna get a better experience. So people will put up with what I would say is closest, less than their competitor.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily about even. This is going to come out really wrong. It's not about adding value. It's about kind of reducing the negatives, I guess. And
this is what we're seeing is when there's a demand, people are opening because there's a rush in their demand, so we're just going to open because people are going to come anyway. So then there's the hard bit between, do you just get open or do you set a standard? You know, and it does come down to budget, but it needs to be spent in the right places at the right times.
And well, what's an example of let's say I've got you give me a budget because I don't know how much that costs, but if you give me like a pretty standard budget, what's the kind of split between what goes where?
So yeah, it depends what you're looking for. So if you're looking for networks, so that's like Wi-Fi, staff Wi-Fi, guest Wi-Fi, and a security firewall and that. And then are you adding CCTV, door access control, audio, video? So we're kitting out some of the larger paddle clubs for like the 50k mark, and that's a big venue. You get a lot for your money there. So you know, these are tricky spaces to navigate through.
And it's tough though, because like that's just one cost out of. I mean, we had Nick Denby on here yesterday, who's helping us with the Fair Rates for Fitness campaign, and like that's one cost out of like the business rates, the council tax. Like before you've even opened, you're like paying all of these taxes and unavoidable costs. So how does someone kind of try and find the funds to kind of fund the AV? Because I do agree it's so important.
A lot of the clubs that are opening, it'd be about just under £1 million to open some of these clubs.
Which is crazy.
You've got £1 million, so if you're spending 5% on guest experience, is that good? I'd probably spend a little bit more myself.
Yeah.
But if you're opening a club and it's costing you £750 to £1 million, then yeah, 50k is a drop in the water for all of them points that are, you know, security, CCTV, you know, Wi-Fi, good connection, safe.
Well, it's also the thing that throughout your entire like opening and service, like that's going to remain a constant. Like that's never going to change. 100%. So it's like you're really setting the tone, and if you set the tone badly, I think the effect of that can be so detrimental.
You buy poorly, you buy twice, right? You buy once, you buy right. So
I love the phrase.
Yeah, it's fine. It's making sure you've got the balance, and there's a balance for everyone. There's always a budget for everyone. We've done them a hell of a lot cheaper. We've done them a hell of a lot more expensive. Now it's really finding what type of brand someone wants to open with, and how they want their guests to feel when they purchase these products.
And on that, I mean, how does a good environment that's set up correctly, how does that alter the way people behave within that space?
It's comfort, right? So there was some data to prove that in a restaurant, for instance, if the audio is balanced right, softly, and it's not overbearing or overtuned and it sounds horrendous, people stay longer. There's more dwell time. And in a restaurant, more dwell time equals more money. People are spending more on drinks, puddings and things after, rather than go in, have your meal, let's get out. A good atmosphere equals good dwell time, whether it's a bar, whether it's the social area or a social club after, whether it's keeping people in the room to then show more adverts and show more advertising. It's a compounding effect.
I like the dwell space. That's it's very true, and I think I kind of have an idea myself, but I'll let you're the one being interviewed. Are you seeing now like more fitness spaces and more wellness spaces? They're really like trying to become that third space and that like community hub where people are, as you say, dwelling and spending.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the traction over the last year, especially with paddle, but also with High Rocks CrossFit style training, it's all community based. It's all community based, and community based works well when the community's together for longer. So you've got the WhatsApp groups when you're out of the gym. You've got different split training groups. You've got people come together to do the training together, where it's a competition or it's in the gym or outside of the gym. It's all built around community. And if you can get a community start rocking in your gym, then you're going to keep your member attention. It's going to grow, because that's what communities do. They naturally grow.
I mean, yeah, Nick, the guy I was talking about earlier, he was saying about his space, and he's like, because of that atmosphere he's created, like people they haven't got married in the club, but they've met and then gone on to get married, and like
people don't leave the club. I visit many clubs, especially for instance paddle, because they're so big compared to the gyms. They've got the social space. I see the same people there all the time. People don't want to go home. People work from there. They work from there just to wait for a slot to open up, then they can go. Because we've created an amazing space. Like, people love to be there.
It's also
feels great.
Fun as hell.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we've got near us. There's a new. Have you heard of Paddleheim? It's a Paddleheim. It's in Redditch. Like that. The hype around that, and he's a bit of a whiz kid as well, so he's doing a good job of the visuals. But paddle's blowing up as well, and I think are you seeing now that paddle's kind of here to stay? Is it a fad, or
they've created, I mean, the right clubs have created a place that's going to last. Some of the clubs have created a place where we just need to get it up just because everyone else is doing it. Yeah, it's finding the right people, and the right club will last because it's a great sport. It's a great for all ages, and it's proved that.
Anyway.
You know, all of the schools go there around our local area. A lot of the schools go, especially in holidays. So yeah, it ticks the right boxes. They do trips away now, so they book trips to Spain. So the community again get together and they all go out to Spain, do competitions in and out, and they get star players come and visit. It works.
I couldn't name you a single paddle player though. It would be going back to kind of AV. If I've got a venue that I'm watching this and I'm like, I really need to kind of do something, is a recommendation to like rip it out and start again, or is it better to kind of improve and slowly?
Well, I mean, the first thing I would recommend is reaching out to a professional, ideally ourselves. Because you might not need to rip it out. There's a lot of things that you might not need to rip out, and again, it comes down to what's the state of when you walked in. You know, how is the experience now? Can it be improved upon, or do you not have an experience? Do you not have an atmosphere? Do you have a shell with a lot of noise, and do you just want to start again?
How do you quantify that atmosphere? Like, how do you know? Obviously, there's like churn and things you can probably take an assumption from, but I mean, physically, how do you go into a space and kind of gauge the atmosphere and the experience?
How does it make you feel? So the owner will have a different aspect on it because they're probably blinded by being their own brand. So you need feedback from the people in the gym. You need feedback from maybe you need to take yourself out and go to a competitor's gym. Go to somewhere where maybe you inspire to be, and then you blur the lines between that and your gym, and then that's where you start pushing, and that's where you realize this is what I'm missing, that's what I'm missing, and obviously reaching out to us, and maybe we can say, maybe go here, we see your brand, we see what you're doing, it might be worth you visiting this place, having a look what's been done there.
Yeah, you can plug yourself, it's fine, honestly. Is the question, how does it make you feel? Is that the question to be asking yourself all the time?
Yes and no. Now, I would say yes, because it needs to feel like a good environment. Yeah. No, because it's not, you're not going to be having good feelings all the time, especially when you're in the gym. Sometimes it's hard, right? And you might have a bad day.
Yeah.
So, but you need to, like you said, it's the place where everyone wants to come back to. It's the place where people don't want to leave. Now, my wife does a lot of High Rocks and CrossFit. She would love to be there all the time if she could. You know, it's because it's a good environment. It's a good community, lovely people, great gym. And, you know, she just really wants to be there because that's the passion that it's made her feel. And that's the feeling. So if you can create that, then you've got people that want to come back.
Can you have a good culture like that without a good AV setup?
I think culture is built in different ways, right? So you can build culture, of course you can. It's just, do you want it all simplicity? Do you want it to sound nice, feel nice, look nice?
Yeah.
Do you want it to, like when we're talking, like if you're, imagine working out in silence or working out and it's echoing because you're in a gym, which is like basically a tin shed potentially. And it's just it's hard to concentrate, hard to lock in and focus. You need something to aid you on that journey. Like we all listen to music, we all love it. It needs to come through, right?
Yeah, because I suppose even if it is like a spit and sawdust gym that like people are going to work out because it's their job or whatever, and I think why can't you have a nice time in there as well? Yeah, okay. We've looked at bad situations. Let's go right to the other end of the spectrum. What's the most like over the top, overkill fit out that you've been a part of or seen?
I mean, we've done some really amazing things. So a core of our project has been on super yachts. So we work for super yachts all around the world. And yeah, we've done some amazing stuff. So way before, companies like Techno Gym and people were putting screens into the treadmills, we were creating our own and building all of this stuff ourselves with big LED walls, projection, immersive, vibration and everything that's going on. Especially the lighting. For instance, some of the spin studios with the pixels racing around you, and you could, like I said, you could be anywhere. You could be on the Alps and make it go white. You could be in the fields, it goes green, and it really just puts it into perspective. It can take you somewhere else.
That it does sound. Have you been to Japan before?
Yeah.
Have you been to Team Labs? Team Labs is the AV experience, so like Team Labs Planets, and it was literally like you were wading through water. You had to roll your trousers up, and your water came up to here, and it was like cloudy water, and they did a projection onto the water with fish, and they reacted to you. And I just think some of the opportunities out there to like really create a space that does blow people's mind is there, and I think why not take it?
There's so much opportunity, and it comes down to what do you want your customers to experience when they're in your venue.
Yeah. Maybe the fish is overkill. I'm doing my AV fit out. How much of the stuff should I have planned out? Take me kind of through the journey. Should I, build the space, get all my equipment in, or should I just kind of come to you? Literally, I want to open a gym and come to you, or what's the...
Yeah. So I think when you've got an idea and you've got a business plan in place and you know what you're doing. We spoke to a lot of people before they get the keys to their venues. And then we spoke to people like, I've just got the keys to my venues. This is what I want to do. Can you help me? Both of them work, right? So we would come down, visit you guys. Or if the time can't be arranged and you're out of the country, then send us the drawings and we'll have a look and we'll map it on the computer. And then we work out that alongside your budgets to what's best suited for you. So the journey from early stages is, as long as you've got a business plan that you're about to action this, then yeah, get in touch.
You make the process sound very fun. All this is,
well,
I want to open a gym
it's straightforward, It doesn't. We try and take, and we don't complicate the figures and the data information to the customer. They just need to see what they're getting and how it's going to make them feel. And then if they're more technical and they want to experience that, then we can release that data to them and work with them more on a technical aspect.
I think, actually, you make a good point about like the time saving aspect of it. Like as a gym owner, like you're juggling plates, you're spinning 1,000 plates, and like it's just as much stuff as you can get taken off it. Is there an element of like, just your kind of personal opinion, I guess, like, is it best to, would you say pay, if you don't know how to do something, is it always best to pay someone else to do it? Or is it best to kind of educate yourself?
No, that's business, right? So if any successful business person would tell you, don't try to do something that you have no idea of or you're not good at, you pay someone else to do it and you use your time to do what you're good at. Right, so that's just straight business advice, probably from Elon Musk.
No,
she's doing it right at the moment.
Hey, we're...
So that's obvious. This is what I like to do. If we've got a specialist in one area, they're the specialists. They do that, you know.
Yeah, I think people have jobs for a reason, and that's what
Exactly,
they get
yeah.
No, it's good. We're a business podcast as well. I mean, it's good. What gets harder and more disruptive the more it's kind of put off in terms of the AV stuff? Like, what's the kind of one you just really need to get nailed down?
It's hard because if it's falling over in AV, it's most of the time it'll either work or it won't work. So it happens quite quickly. One thing that I'd say is the only progressor that could get worse over time is licensing. If you don't have a music license, then yeah, you might get away with it for a bit and then eventually you won't. So
You need a license for everything in the UK. You need a
you
music
do.
license.
So, I mean, obviously, shameless plug, we do the music license. So the one that we have, you can air Spotify playlists with.
Yeah.
Because if you're just basically in a gym and you're just playing music off your alts and your phone or your Bluetooth in your Spotify, you know, you can't do that. That's breaking obviously the law.
This do you? I mean, it's such a random question, but do you have any like idea of, do people actually listen to music that the gym play, or is it most of the time they just come in with their headphones and
Yeah, there's different ones. So if you're like high rocks CrossFit, you might be listening for instructions. So less of the time, less headphones. Paddle, never headphones. Can't wear headphones in communities, group sports. So if you're isolated on like a muscle style gym, then yeah, you're probably wearing headphones.
Yeah,
essentially.
My mate that plays paddle, he may as well be wearing headphones and a blindfold. To be honest, he's not very good. So it's kind of it's interesting. So what's the lowest, what's the quickest and kind of most low cost win that will have like the biggest effect that someone today could do?
Yeah, I think a couple of screens, depending on the venue, a couple of screens maybe in the cafe and then in the main entrance, and then an easy to use zonal audio. So what I mean by that is, in potentially if you've got like the welcome area, you may just have a bit of background music on, and then in the main area, if it's like high rocks CrossFit, like muscle building gym, then let's we can turn that up. We can have that pumping a bit more, and then in the back rooms where you've got your maybe your Pilates, recovery, spin, you can control all them differently. They're quick wins. They're basically what you should have out of the box.
Okay, yeah, fair. So if you don't have those, then get them.
Yeah, and obviously how conscious you are and how your gym operates, maybe CCTV and security.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the gyms might not have as many staff now.
And I think you obviously, like, the next step from that is that to kind of just look at the data and kind of figure out what you're missing, and as you say, like, go to other gyms and do your kind of research.
Yeah, what you're missing, what other companies have got, what you think does well, what does do well, factually. And how you want your guests to feel and how you want them to be in your space. You know, if safety is a concern in certain areas, then, you know, you're going to spend a bit more on CCTV, door access control, so people can't wander in and out. Because obviously gyms are open early and they're closed late. In the summer, it's not too bad. It's daylight everywhere. In the winter, we don't get a lot of sunlight in the mornings and the evenings. So it's nice to know that people aren't just wandering in and out when you've got one receptionist.
Yeah, fair. I mean, how nice is it that it's summer now? I didn't realize I missed it that much, but you mentioned it earlier, and I think, well, we spoke about it earlier, the industry is like rapidly evolving. It's always changing. There's always new stuff. And I think members' kind of expectations of, there's obviously the low cost people and low cost gyms that serve people, and they will always be a thing. But I think as we kind of go higher up with price point, I think members' expectations have started to kind of really shift, and they kind of want more. And as you said, if they can pay £2.50 for a better environment, then they will. So how have the expectations of AV changed to kind of match that expectation that people have?
Yeah, I mean, it's in terms of like going back to the experience and the atmosphere. If you're walking into like a wellness club, maybe that's more of a franchise or got lots of venues, you know, the bigger clubs, then it's more of, it needs to be that, you know, you're not expecting a hard, harsh environment. So that they're spending a bit more on that, a bit more control. They want a bit more control from the back end, so they can see statistically what's happening in their venue. You know, can we change the venue? Can we shut this area down for a private session? And they've got that flexibility then. So then they're able to generate more money because they're able to do more events, more things. And then on the flip side of that, you're seeing, people just put something in to get them by.
And what's your thoughts on that kind of member expectation? Do you think that members are now kind of quietly expecting like a good AV setup in a gym, and if they don't have it?
So member expectation is built on what else is around, right? So if you're not familiar with anything else but the bare minimum, then you're probably going to be happy. But also where the price ramps up so much, people aren't happy. Like gym memberships are expensive because they're a drain on resource, especially for like CrossFit and IROX. They're a drain on resource for trained staff. So that's why it's expensive. Paddle's expensive because the courts, they're a lot of money. The space is a lot of money. It's a lot of square footage, but you're getting value for money. And that's the thing. Are you getting value for money, or do you need to switch your membership somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, just quickly before I wrap up and give you the final question, how much does a paddle court cost? I was considering at one point of
purchasing an actual court.
A paddle court. Yeah, but
well, I mean, we don't purchase courts, but I'm sure I think they're at 60k, depending 60 to 80k, I think. But don't quote me on that.
No, fair. I won't. I'm not going to buy one, so all right, don't worry. And then I guess, my last question would be, if to a gym owner or a paddle court owner or anyone that needs an AV service, really, if they were to do one thing differently today, what would you tell them to do?
I think an actionable step is to look at your venue. What have you got and what haven't you got? I would create like a wish list, and then an idea on, if I'm going to do something, how much can I afford to spend on it? And that's not saying, oh, how much money have I got left? It's saying, how much money would I not mind putting towards it? Because budgets is a tricky question. And it's not about finding how much money's left. It's finding how much are you willing to spend, because that's going to get you more of the catch. And I'd say action plan in that, and then get in contact with the AV professional to come in and take the next steps.
You guys,
MADEAV.
Get in contact with us. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that's probably something that gym owners probably struggle with a fair amount, is working on the business, because that essentially is what that is. So yeah, Ash, thank you so much for joining us.
That's been a pleasure.
Good to see you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.